So Supermassive Games are looking to return to the glory of the Until Dawn days with the Quarry after having a couple of hit or miss games with the Dark Anthology series, we'll say. So we're going to do a review here. I've just completed the game yesterday. I did a full playthrough here on the channel if you want to check that out. But we're going to be using the 7 Ps method that I've used for pretty much all of my reviews recently. We're going to go through the playing, the plot, the people, the places, the picture, the phone, which is the sounds, and then the pop, which is kind of like the wow factor. Alright, so we'll start with the gameplay, but obviously there's not really too much to say in this regard as it's mainly walking around and QTEs. The QTEs are pretty simple in this game, moving the analog and tapping X, although at the start of the game I was pressing the wrong button because it really does look like it's just telling you to press the circle button, even though it was actually the analog. I got very confused at the start until I finally realized that I have to flick the analog a certain way. But one thing I really do like about the gameplay is the clue system in this game. You obviously find clues throughout this game, and a lot of them actually don't make sense at first, but as you go you'll find like another clue, and it's like a part of one bigger clue. So basically there'll be 3 smaller clues inside one bigger clue, and as you uncover more, it kind of reveals the full clue, if you get what I'm saying. Basically, it all comes together and makes sense when you get the 3 clues inside the 1 clue kind of situation. But some of the situations in the gameplay, say where you're running from an enemy, if you're like kind of trying to get away from the werewolf and it's one of those chase scenes, having to decide what to do is quite tense. It really does make you feel like one way or the other you could be walking your character into an untimely death, and actually having to do the QTs in these scenes as well is nerve-wracking as hell, because all the while knowing your character could die at any moment just makes it that much better. So yeah, like I said, not too much to say on the gameplay, but overall an enjoyable experience, and we'll jump into the plot/story. So the Quarry drops you in with a couple en route to Hackett's Quarry summer camp, Laura and Max, who off the bat seem like cool characters. They seem quite likable and down to earth, but it quickly gets very creepy. You get run off the road and some weird things start happening with these characters, and it really sets up the story nicely and kind of makes you feel a little weirded out before it drags you back to the remaining main cast and slows things down a bit. Back to daylight and a nice little bit of a build-up as we get to know the 7 summer camp. I can't speak English. The 7 summer camp counselors. There we go. Jesus, I got it out. But yeah, the story of this game pretty much takes place in one full day, so one day and then the night cycle as well, which I found to be really cool. There is a couple of flashbacks in here and there, but overall the meat of the story takes place in one full day. So the build up during the day is all nice and calm, with a few hints of weirdness going on here or there, and kind of clues as to what's going on in Hackett's Quarry summer camp. But as night falls, things go pretty bad fast. It really makes you feel like any decision you make at nighttime is going to have a severe consequence, which is something these kind of games miss with a lot, I feel like, where it really, some of these games, like in the Dark Pictures, I never felt like as tense as I did in these games. I never felt like I really cared whether these characters lived or died, or my decisions were going to affect them in one way or another. But this game really makes you feel the weight of your decisions. And apparently there's like 181 endings or something crazy like that. Whether those are all that different, I'm not sure. Like, they might just be small little variations, but still, that is quite nuts. The fact that there is so many decisions as well, it really made you want to get the decision right for all of these characters. It wasn't like Until Dawn where there were certain characters that I didn't really care about living or dying. I wanted everyone to survive and have a good ending. I didn't really like Emma, I'll say, but she wasn't like a terrible person or anything, so I definitely still wanted her to survive along with everyone else. It wasn't like Emily from Until Dawn, where I actually rewinded just so I could shoot her in the head. I mean, that was a little messed up on my part, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. No, I shouldn't say that I enjoyed that. The podcast credits at the end made things a little bit confusing to me in terms of where the story went afterwards. I wish we would have learned a little bit more there, I'll say, but I won't spoil anything for whoever hasn't played the game yet. But I'd highly recommend checking it out soon. So now we'll jump in to the people. We're going to talk about the characters. The Quarry has 9 camp counselors, and then the Hackett family, and of course the lady, Silas's mother as well, is quite a big part, and she basically replaces the dude with the clock or whatever in Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology games as the woman you talk to between chapters, and she can show you future versions of events with if you find a tarot card in the chapter beforehand. So there is a lot of famous actors in this game. Even my girlfriend knew about this game. She doesn't really play games at all. She knew about this because she knew, I think it was the actress who played Caitlin. I believe she was in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And there's quite a few other famous actors as well. Ariel Winter from Modern Family is in this as well. And I think I like her character quite a bit. But the Quarry really does a much better job of making characters relatable and likable than recent Supermassive games. So I'm going to just go through each character, quick biopy on each character, and just talk about them minimally. So we'll start with Max. I thought he was really funny and relatable. He was a relatable character to the situation for me personally. He was always trying to put a funny slant on everything, and his girlfriend Laura is more of like a badass character, especially as you get further into the game, and I feel like she grew on me quite a bit. But I guess that does depend on the decisions you make as well. Jacob was like the typical funny, immature guy, but as it goes, he kind of gets a little bit more depth to him. You see the soft side of him. You really start to feel for him as the game progresses. You find him crying in the game, and I really started to feel a little bit bad for him there. Jacob just wanted to have a lover, man. He just wanted Emma to love him back. Damn it, Jacob. I feel for you, man. Nick and Abby both have some similar reserved personalities, so I feel like that twist with Nick in the game is necessary, but I did like them both, and I think they had a good dynamic together as well. I feel like they did kind of need to be paired together to, I'll say, bring out the best in their characters. And Emma, she was kind of like the typical annoying female character that these horror movies / games always have, but she did have the added bit of being a YouTuber like myself, so, you know, I respect Emma a little bit more for that. Dylan was incredibly sarcastic and witty and had humor in serious moments to kind of bring an element of funniness to serious situations. They did explore his sexuality a little bit as well to kind of let you know that he's gay, but it seems like the decisions that I took didn't really go down that road. So I guess it really depends on what you do to get the most out of the complex situation with him there. And Caitlin, she was almost like the group leader / mom of the gang. She was always trying to keep things together. And then we had Ryan as well, who was the loner, depressed type guy with an itch for the supernatural podcasts. I didn't mind Ryan. My editor didn't like Ryan at all, but I didn't mind him. Not my editor that's editing this video, my editor that actually edited the playthrough for the Quarry, Sanakagi. Josh, shout out to you too, though. Love you. So the next P is the places. Pretty much all of the game, bar the flashbacks, takes place in Hackett's Quarry Summer Camp. The camp is split into 15 locations. In general, I really like the setting of the game. I think in certain instances, when a game takes place in a single location, it can get stale pretty quickly. But I think this game definitely did a great job of making the best of the surroundings and the setting. There's a beautiful small island in the middle of the camp surrounded by the water, so the werewolves don't like that very much. There's a really cool scrapyard with loads of junk cars and character, and there's also the Hackett house with loads of different layers to it, which kind of gives you like Resident Evil vibes a little bit with the house, the weird family in the house. It definitely got Resident Evil 7 vibes from it a little bit, and just in general, you know, Resident Evil always has those weird houses / mansions, and that was definitely the vibe I was getting from it. Overall, it would have maybe been nice to have more variety in settings, but I did like the ones that we did get, and in the flashbacks we kind of got the prison a little bit, and we got to explore the prison, and then at the end we kind of went a little bit out of the way. We took a drive, and I won't spoil any more of that, but yeah, I mean, overall I think the setting was serviceable. It was fine. It wasn't like amazing by any stretch, but I did like the summer camp, and I thought it was a nice little realistic camp. The game itself isn't very realistic, but the camp was definitely down to earth. So next we'll go to the picture slash graphics, and this to me is definitely the best looking supermassive game so far, and I guess it would want to be, seeing as Until Dawn came out, what, like 6 years ago now at this point, which is kind of incredible to think about. But yeah, it really just looks quite good in general, generally very good animations, but it does also have its moments where the animations randomly will look very well below par and then come back to being very good again. In terms of performance, I only noticed frame drops a few times, and it wasn't anything really too significant, nothing to really hinder my full experience at all. Maybe you'd notice it more in a fast-paced game, but of course in the Quarry, there's no real fast-paced action unless you're in an intense QTE scene. And for the last two, I don't really have too much to say. We have the fun, which is the sounds and the music, and unfortunately I had to actually do most of my playthrough without music. Well, I had it on, but it was just very, very low, so you couldn't really hear it too well in the videos, so I don't have too much of an opinion on that, but in-game sounds and voice acting was very well done in my opinion. As I said, it was quite a stacked cast, and you really did feel the benefits of that. I feel like the voice acting was incredibly well done, and the facial animations, it seems like they took a lot of time with that. So very well done, supermassive games. And the pop slash wow factor, there's not really too much in the way of that. It's not like there's a big pop slash wow factor like there is in Horizon, just when I'm flying over and you just see everything, you're just like, wow. But I feel like the wow factor in this game is just how nervous some of these scenes made me. You know, I wasn't really expecting that at all. It was mightily impressive how much some of these scenes got to me and really made me feel like, oh my god, I have to get this right. Alright, so as a rating for this game, I'm going to be implementing a new system here that I'm going to use for future reviews. My friend Tyler has like a 0 to 30 method, so like 1 to 10 would be a disaster to very bad, 10 to 15 would be poor to pretty much bang average, 15 to 20 would be decent up to good, 20 to 25 would be very good to great, and then 25 to 30 would be like amazing to all-time games right there. So in terms of like an example, I'll say Horizon Forbidden West for me this year would be like a 26 out of 30. Like that was an amazing, incredible experience. Absolutely loved the game. And Eternal Threads was a game that I very much enjoyed, but it wasn't like on the top level of games, so I would have given that like a 17 out of 30. And then The Last of Us, like one of my favorite games of all time, Uncharted 4 would be like 29 to 30 range. So that's just a quick example. In terms of that, I'm going to give this game a 22 out of 30. I don't want to confuse you guys too much, but I feel like it's better for me to have my own method rather than just kind of saying 8 out of 10 and not really having much thought or input into that really. So yeah, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I feel like that's a good score for the game. So it's in the very good to great range for me, like just the start of the very good. It's not like a great top tier game in my opinion, but I very much enjoyed it nonetheless. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Quarry. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. It was a little bit of a shorter review than I'd probably normally do, but a lot of the things, as I said, you can't really say too much about in this game. I just highly recommend playing it. And if you're not going to play it, even watching a playthrough, I guess, of this game is sufficient, although I feel like you wouldn't get the full experience of the tenseness of the situations with the QTEs and stuff like that. So I think it's worth playing. I think it's definitely worth playing even if you've already watched a playthrough, because there's different ways that things can go. You'll fully experience like what it's like to be in those situations. But yeah, I think that's it. You guys can check out some of my other content. It should be up on the screen right now. You can check out my playthrough for the Quarry, and you can check out maybe some of my other reviews as well. I appreciate all the support here on the second channel recently. I'm really trying to work hard on this and improve the content on here. So appreciate any likes and support you can give. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. It would be greatly appreciated. Shout out to Josh for editing this video, and I'll see you guys next time. It's been a pleasure to serve you all. Peace out.